What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 65 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stony is back for the 65th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hustlers, lowlife, scumbags, hoodlums, cheats, fienders, degenerates. You're all back for season 2, episode number 32, the Elite 8 edition. And the reason you're all back is because we continue to roll along, make money all season long. We've done fantastically. We've made money for everybody involved. We're over 1,000 picks now, 1,004 picks, all free to you every single time out. 1,000 picks for the season, and we're over 60%. You can't beat that. Quick recap over the last Thursday and Friday, the Sweet 16 games. 2-6 on Thursday, not exactly our finest moment, but bounced back strong yesterday with a 6-2. We did go 1-1 on the sides, but we hit all four. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, we went 2-2 on the sides and bounced back with a 4-0 on the totals. So we did really well. I mean, 8-8 is exactly what it is. 8-8 we'll take. It's okay. All we lost was some juice, but we're still up very well for the postseason as well as the season overall. Let's check some numbers before we get to the picks. NCAA postseason, just this NCAA tournament, 64 wins, 43 losses, 1 push. That's good for 59.81%, a little bit below our standard for the season, but that's just basically because of the 8-8 we just posted, right? We can bounce back strong with a solid Elite 8 performance today and tomorrow. Total postseason, this includes NIT, this includes college basketball conference tournaments and everything. 88 wins, 56 losses, 3 pushes, 61.11%. That's top notch. Doesn't get much better than that. Regular season, NCAA, 176, 131, and 1, 60.9%. And overall, including NFL, college bowl games, NCAA football, baseball playoffs, MLB playoffs, everything that we did for the season, 611 wins, 393 losses, and 6 pushes. That's 60.86%. Once again, I continue to dare anybody to give you 1,000 free picks and hit at a 60% clip. Can't be done. Only by your boy, because that's all I do. I just continue to deliver. Couple notes. We'll start with a programming note. This is the third to last video you're going to get, I know, of the season. I know it's very disappointing to you. You all love tuning in to see my beautiful voice, see my beautiful face, hear my beautiful voice, and listen to my beautiful picks to make you money. Next week, we will do a Final Four show on Friday night, maybe even Thursday night, depending on, maybe give you guys an extra day to get down. And then after the Final Four on Saturday, we'll try to get a pick in, or we'll try to get one in for the national championship, which won't be played until Monday. Now, if I don't post the video on Saturday night, then it will definitely come up on Sunday. So it'll give you plenty of time to get your national championship selection in for Monday night. So that's it. You got this one, you got next week, and you got 2 next week. You got 1 on Thursday or Friday and 1 on Saturday or Sunday. That's it. 3 more picks. Then I'm off for the summer, and I'll be back in August with episode, let's see if this is 65, it would be episode number 68. We'll kick off season 3 in Thoughts and Hunches. So we'll be back for college football season, the start of the NFL. So those are programming notes. As far as the NCAA tournament has gone, as a UCLA fan, I'm very disappointed last night and how UCLA blew a late lead like that, but it is what it is. It's the tournament. Crazy things happen, and crazy things have been happening in this tournament so far. It's been fantastic. I've called it over and over and again, the greatest sporting event in the world, and this season is not disappointed. Anybody that thinks otherwise, please dispute it. I dare you, right? Because for 3 weeks, everybody's just so enthralled in the madness of March and the craziness of upsets and storylines and everything, right? The Super Bowl, yeah, it's a one-day thing, right? NBA playoffs, please, it's a 3-month freaking marathon. MLB playoffs can get pretty intense, right, in a game-by-game situation. But again, those are 7-game series, just like the NBA, right? Where the NFL and college basketball has everybody beat is that it's a one and done, right? Very simple. Lose, go home. Season's over. No series, right? You win by winning, right? And you move on. Survive and advance, in the words of the immortal Jim Valvano, who to this day still had what I consider the true only Cinderella to win the national championship. Yes, there have been a couple surprises throughout the years, right? But no true Cinderellas. I mean, NC State shouldn't have even gone into the tournament. They snuck in by winning the ACC tournament and just ran the table and won it all back in 1983. That goes to show you, 40 years ago, that goes to show you that in this tournament, there really aren't any surprise winners. There's some surprise winners throughout the games, but the winner of the NCAA championship deserves it, and the winner of the national championship is the national champion because they've gone through the ringer and they're going to end up with the number 1 ranking because they've earned it. Fact, plain and simple. You get a lot of Cinderellas. We got a big one in this tournament so far. But generally, by the time you get to the Final Four, it's the big boys. It's the big dogs, the blue bloods, whatever you want to call them. The ACC somehow, after a down season, has managed to sneak 3 teams into the Elite Eight. Somehow, it was a down year. And I even said it was a down year. Duke was the only real threat in the ACC. But here, you look at it right now, and you got Duke, North Carolina, and Miami all in the Elite Eight. You've got Miami has made it. This is the furthest they've ever made it, right? Arkansas knocked off top seed Villanova or Gonzaga. Villanova, who I texted some of my friends the other day saying, at what point do we have to start considering Jay Wright the best coach in college basketball? I mean, all he does is win every single year, right? Villanova just keeps rolling along. Duke, yes, it's hard to ignore the Coach K storyline as they continue to win. Houston, defense, physicality, right? And just, what they did to Arizona the other night was just stupid. It was crazy. And then obviously the St. Peter's Peacocks, just the surprise of the tournament. The glass slipper is fit. Cinderella, for the first time, a 15 seed has reached the Elite Eight. This is just insane. And they just can continue to have that attitude of come one, come all. Doesn't matter who we're playing, we're going to beat you. So we also had some pretty outstanding individual performances. Paolo Banchero for Duke the other night down the stretch in a very, very impressive win over Texas Tech, where Duke was just insane, and Paolo Banchero, best players lead the best teams during crunch time, and that's exactly what he did. Remy Martin, the emergence of him at Kansas and what he's meant to that team in this tournament, it's been insane. He's actually made Ochai Agbaji even better, all right, and Agbaji's already a first team All-American. And then anybody that watched Carolina UCLA last night, it pains me to say it, but one guy won the game for North Carolina, Caleb Love. Nobody should score 30 points in this kind of game. You got to foul him, you got to knock him down, you got to do whatever. But Caleb Love was just unconscious, and UCLA didn't have an answer for him. And he was ridiculous. So now we're going to move on. They give you all 4 games for this weekend, 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. And I'm going to give you both picks of the NIT semifinals which will be played Tuesday night at MSG, the Madison Square Garden. Those two games, those will come at the end of the show. So here we go. Let's start today, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, South Region, the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. Number 2 seed Villanova versus number 5 seed Houston. Houston, as a 5 seed, comes in as a 2.5 point favorite over second seeded Villanova. Yes. Now, Houston has been playing that underappreciated card. They were pissed off that they got the 5 seed. They thought they deserved at the worst a 3, maybe even a 2. They've been in the top 10 all season. They're an outstanding team. Kelvin Sampson is just one of the best coaches in college basketball, period. He's now been at Houston for 8 years. They made the Final Four last year, and now he's 1 win away from taking the Cougars to their second straight Final Four. They got here by beating UAB in the first round, a very impressive win over Illinois in the second round, and then they followed that up by beating top-seeded Arizona in the Sweet 16 just the other day, and they did it by punching them in the mouth. This was an Arizona team that scored 85 points a game. They were the second or third highest scoring team in the nation. They could not be stopped. As a UCLA fan, I saw that firsthand 3 times this year, and they just kept winning and kept putting up numbers, and they did it in the first 2 rounds of the tournament, but they ran into Houston, and Houston just completely took them out of the game and counterpunched every single punch that Arizona had. They wanted to keep the game in the 50s or 60s. Well, it landed on 60, which was exactly what Kelvin Sampson was shooting for, and a relatively easy 72-60 win that Arizona really didn't have a chance in because Houston was just so dominant. Josh Carlton stepped up against Houston, started scoring, and he shouldered the offensive load along with Jamal Sheed, the point guard. I'm not sure if it's Sheed or Shed because I've heard it pronounced both ways, but the boy can play, period. Fabian White and Taze Moore, those are the leading scorers for Houston all season. They didn't play well against Houston, but they didn't have to because they got it done defensively, and Sheed and Carlton stepped up to deliver exactly what they needed to. Now, the thing about Houston is you see them play and you think that there's just this amazing defensive team, and they are. But they're also a top 10 offense. People don't realize that about them. It's just that their grit and their determination and their identity is built on the defensive end, and that's a product of Kelvin Sampson. That's what he does. Now, this game was really tough for me to handicap because I adore both these coaches. I mean, Sampson versus Jay Wright, it doesn't get any better than this or bigger than this. And, you know, these guys, all they do is win everywhere they go. Jay Wright, oh man, Jay Wright is now in his 5th trip to the Elite 8, right? He's won a title he won national championships in 16 and in 18. And they got here by running the ringer in the Big East, right? They didn't win the Big East, but they were, for the most part, let's face it, the best team all season long in the Big East. They got here in this tournament by beating Delaware. Then they got the Big Ten daily double of Ohio State and Michigan, and a Michigan team that was playing really, really well. Just ran into a Nova buzzsaw the other day, and Nova just beat them with defense and timely scoring, and the best free throw shooting team in the history of college basketball. So if this is a close game down the stretch, you really got to like Nova. Jermaine Samuels, Justin Moore, Colin Gillespie, Villanova's just so talented. They don't turn the ball over. They play staunch defense. They make big shots. They make them when they have to. And this is why I'm taking Villanova. And again, it rips my heart out to go against Houston right now. I did it the other night. It wound up costing me. I hope it doesn't cost me again, but it goes to show you that the power of Houston right now as a 5 seed is a 2.5 point favorite over second seeded Villanova, a team that has won 2 of the last 5 national championships. It's just insane. But Nova as a dog, I'm sorry, I love you, Kelvin Sampson, but Nova as a dog, give me those 2.5 points. I will take them. Even if Houston wins by a point on a buzzer beater, whatever, I'm still the winner. I'm also going to take under 127.5 because these are 2 solid defenses. This is the lowest total of the weekend, and definitely going to go under here. Moving on. Game 2 tonight, 8:49 p.m. Eastern Time. West Region Final, the Chase Center, San Francisco, California. I know plenty of people, family and friends that are in attendance that were there on Thursday night. They'll be there again tonight to watch the Western Conference, the West Region Final between number 2 Duke and number 4 Arkansas. Second seeded Duke is a 4.5 point favorite, and wins over Cal State Fullerton, Michigan State, and a really, really tough, gritty win over Texas Tech on Thursday night has got them to where they are, chasing the dream of sending Coach K out in style. That was Krzyzewski's 100th win in the tournament. The amount of Final Fours he's been to are off the charts. Duke shot 70% down the stretch in the second half against the best defensive team in the nation. They basically hit all the big shots that they needed. It was Paolo Banchero, right? Big players make big plays in big times, and that's what Banchero did. Wendell Moore stepped up. Duke is a dangerous team right now because they're starting to believe that they're as good as they are, and they also want to send out Coach K on a championship note. They did beat Arkansas in the 1990 Final Four, right? If y'all remember back to those days, in 1990, Arkansas reached the Final Four. Duke beat them up pretty good in the Final Four. That was the Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill team, and they won. Grant Hill wasn't on that team, but they won in the Final Four, and then they moved on to the NCAA championship where they were absolutely obliterated by UNLV, 103-73, and still the biggest margin of victory in NCAA championship game history. But it doesn't matter. Duke has had plenty of, five championships under Coach K. Enough said. Well, they're up against Arkansas, all right? Eric Musselman, the Muss Bus, whatever you want to say. Vermont, New Mexico State, and Gonzaga were his victims so far. I made a point by taking Gonzaga the other night I took Arkansas. I thought Gonzaga was going to win because Arkansas had played Vermont and New Mexico State, and they weren't really tested, right, against top tier competition. Well, they have now because they took out the number 1 overall seed for the first time. Arkansas, that's the first time they've ever beaten a number 1 seed in the tournament. They did it unbelievably well, and they were very, very defensive oriented, and they kept Gonzaga from getting out on the break, which is where Gonzaga lives. They're in their second straight Elite Eight under Eric Musselman. Their last Final Four was in 1995 when they went to the finals and lost to UCLA. They were trying to repeat because they won it in 1994 by beating Duke. So Duke and Arkansas have met twice in the Final Four, once in the Final Four, once in the NCAA championship game. Duke beat Arkansas in 1990 in the Final Four, but Arkansas beat Duke in the national championship game in 94. Jalen Williams is a monster down low for Arkansas, and he's going to be the guy that controls the boards and pounds away at Duke's bigs, leaving things open for Arkansas's true superstar, which is J.D. Notae. Everything runs through him. The man is just a stud. He does it all. Arkansas would like to see him shoot a little better than he did the other night against Gonzaga, where he missed 20 shots. He was 9 of 29. But his stat line still looks good because he scored 23 points. He gets to the line. He steals. He rebounds. He does a little bit of everything. J.D. Notae is the man. He's the reason I'm going to take Arkansas here, plus the points. Duke may win, but not by 4.5. And the way Eric Musselman's going right now, I have to take Arkansas. Razorbacks plus 4.5, under 147.5. Those are your picks for today. We move on to Sunday now. Tomorrow, 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time, Midwest Region, the United Center in Chicago. Number 1 seeded Kansas, 6.5-point favorites over 10th seeded Miami. Another good matchup here. Well, this is all you get here in the Final 8, in the Elite 8. Kansas is here with wins over Texas Southern, Creighton, and Providence. They beat 2 Big East teams, and now a former Big East team they're playing. The win over Providence was tough. It was gritty. Providence did not want to go away. They did everything in their power to take that win, but Kansas is Kansas. They're a true blue blood for a reason. With their win in the Sweet 16, they're now the winningest college basketball program of all time as far as wins, number of wins. They've won more games than any college basketball program ever. And they just passed Kentucky. So they are now number 1. This is their 23rd trip to the Elite 8. Again, hence the title Blue Bloods. 3 NCAA championships, 1 under Bill Self, their current coach, who just continues to just roll out players and move players from high school to his program to the NBA. Christian Braun, Jalen Wilson, these are the guys, right? These are 2 guys that average in double figures for Kansas, and believe it or not, they're the actual, I don't want to say underperforming, they're the ones that don't get more press because they play with the emerging star, Remy Martin, who transferred in from Arizona State last season and has just caught fire here during the tournament. He's been unbelievable. He's actually made Ochai Ogbaji even better by his play. And Ogbaji is a finalist for the Wooden Award. Sorry, got a grain down my throat there. That one stung a bit. Anyway, Kansas is the team. Kansas, the highest seed left. They're the team to beat right now. As far as I'm concerned, they're the favorites to win the national championship, right? And which is why they're a 6.5-point chalk. Well, they're taking on the 10th seeded Canes here. Miami comes in winners over USC, Auburn, and Iowa State. Top seeded Auburn, I'm sorry, second seeded Auburn they beat back in the second round. This is the farthest that Miami's ever been. They've never reached this far, and it's all Jim Larrañaga. Jim Larrañaga has been unbelievable. You might remember him from his days back in, I think it was 2005 or 2006, when he took unheralded George Mason all the way to the Final Four. Well, he's been at Miami now. He's done a fantastic job, and he does it with a 3-guard offense that's some might call it even a 4-guard offense, where they just spread everybody out. They spread out the defense, and then they take you one-on-one to create mismatches elsewhere. Cameron McGusty is their big dog. He's their leading scorer. He was unbelievable last night in their win over Iowa State. Isaiah Wong didn't play that well last night, but if you sleep on him, he'll drop 20 on you. Charlie Moore, just the names keep going on. These names may not be typical names that you hear a lot about, but you watch this game against Kansas, you will get to know these guys really quickly because they are no joke. That's the reason I'm taking Miami. I'm going to take the points at 6.5. I think Kansas wins this game, but Miami ain't going nowhere. Miami's going to keep this close. They could shock everybody and pull it out and get to the Final Four, but Right now, I'm going to take them plus 6.5, as well as take Kansas on the money line. So Miami plus 6.5 and take over 147.5. Finally, the last game tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, East Region, the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. 8-seeded North Carolina is 8.5-point favorite over the true Cinderella, the 15-seeded Peacocks of St. Peter's. Yes, the East region played out, and you have an 8 and a 15 left. Just stop and think about that for a minute. After Carolina beat 4th-seeded UCLA and St. Peter's beat 3rd-seeded Purdue last night, everybody was looking at a Purdue-UCLA matchup. Turns out, nope. Not going to happen. North Carolina beat Marquette in the first round. Baylor, top-seeded Baylor, defending national champion Baylor in round 2, and then beat UCLA, a team that made it to the Final Four last year. Beat them last night. Carolina, Hubert Davis is in his first year. He's done a fantastic job. All year long, I was down on them because I was down on the ACC. I didn't think Carolina belonged in the tournament up to about 5 or 6 weeks ago, but they closed strong. They got hot during the tournament, and they were down by 3 points with 2 minutes left last night, and Caleb Love just absolutely went off and showed that one player is capable of carrying a team. We've seen it in the past. Kemba Walker, Danny Manning, players like that have literally Carmelo Anthony, players like that have literally willed their team to a national championship. Now, can Caleb Love do that again? Well, that remains to be seen. It depends on if they win and who they play and, moving forward. But Armando Bacot, their center, is a beast. Brady Manick, their bearded sharpshooter, is very, very streaky. But when he catches fire, watch out. He didn't shoot it well last night against UCLA because they defended him well. So he might bounce back and drop 25 on at St. Peter's tomorrow. That's very possible. Now, the Peacocks of St. Peter's, they got in by winning the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC. And in the tournament, number 2 Kentucky went down, Murray State, and then number 3 Purdue all went down at their hands. Head coach Shaheen Holloway is he infectious. You listen to this guy talk, and he's just really, really somebody that you just can't take your eyes and ears off of. He's really, really a fascinating dude. Darryl Banks and Doug Eater, these are the guys that can score for the Peacocks, and the Peacocks won't get into a track meet and score 80 points against Carolina. If they do, they're dead meat. There's no way they can win. It's Casey and Defo. He's the man. He's the big man. He's going to be guarding Armando Bacot in the center. And even though he fouled out against Purdue, it didn't, because he was guarding 2 7-footers. It still didn't matter. St. Peter still got the win. But Casey and Defo is a true defensive stopper. He blocks shots, he rebounds, he steals, he sets screens, he does it all. And he's kind of the motor of this team. So I'm going to take St. Pete. I'm going to take the 8.5 all day long. I don't really have a choice. I mean, I've gone with dogs. So all 4 picks in the Elite 8, underdogs, period. That's it. All 4 dogs. That's, and I'm also going to take the under in this one as well. So all 4 dogs, 3 unders, 1 over. Those are your picks for NCAA Tournament Elite 8 action this weekend. As we move on, you do have the semifinals of the NIT, Madison Square Garden, New York City. The city's so nice they named it twice. I disagree with, but it is what it is. Anyway, the NIT is still, when you start getting to the semifinals, this is a big deal, and winning the NIT is still a big deal. You may not think it is, but, you got 4 good teams, 4 very good teams that very easily could have made this tournament. Game 1, St. Peter's. I'm going to take St. Peter's. St. Bonaventure. I'm going to take St. Bonaventure -2 from the Atlantic 10 against Xavier, right? A team that they're very, very familiar with. So, because Xavier came from the Atlantic 10. So, St. Bonaventure, I'm going to take them. I'm going to lay the 2 against Xavier, and I'm going to take under 140.5. In game 2, the nightcap on Tuesday night, this is for the true fienders that after tomorrow won't be able to wait until Saturday for the Final Four in order to get down. So, you got to get down on Tuesday night. Anyway, Tuesday night, nightcap, Texas A&M -1 versus Washington State. I'm going to take Washington State. The Cougars right now are playing well. A&M feels slighted. They felt they belonged in the tournament. A case could be made that Washington State belonged in the tournament too, but not as strong as Texas A&M's. But I'm going to take Washington State. They've played better the last month of the season, than any team, than a lot of teams that are in the big tournament. But in this one right now, Washington State's the hottest team going. I'm going to take the Cougs plus the 1 and over 135. So there you go. That's it. Very simple. 4 games in the tournament, 2 games in the NIT. That's a total of 10 picks. That's all you get. Next week, I'll be back with the Final Four. If you want the finals picks for the NIT after the Tuesday night game, if you want to know my picks for the finals, text me, email me, respond to this email, put it in the comment section, and I'll give you my winners. Again, all for free. Now, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Scared money don't make money. To me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.